What is going on? Welcome back to the Freeaboos podcast.
It is Austin
It's your boy Jeff.
with special guests.
Featuring my two doggies. Frederick, please don't chew on that. That's not his name, but the recurring theme.
Ozzy is teething, so occasionally you hear "Don't bite that," which is something said in One Piece a few times. Arlong, Horty Jones come to mind.
Well, even this episode, but for once it's used in positive.
Yes.
We forget the fishmen are strong as hell. But that's for us in a few moments.
Yes. Today we are going to be discussing One Piece anime episode 1130, titled "A History Erased: God Valley of Despair," which I love the thematic though, God Valley of Despair, because like the gods, celestial dragons.
It's supposed to be God's supposed to be a representation of hope.
Yeah.
And there is not a whole lot of that here.
And the Valley of Despair, though, the writers were in their bags with this one.
As I walk through the valley of shadow and death, I shall fear no evil.
And I saw something going around on the Twitterverse that one of the animators complained about the sound department at Toei. Basically, like saying, like, hey, y'all use the same damn shit all the time.
I mean, that's true.
And it's like, y'all are lazy for that. And you know what? I heard music that either you hadn't heard before, or at least it had been a hot minute in this episode. Which, you know what? I'm okay with. In particular with this commanding of an episode. This importance of an episode.
Check out the One Piece timeline. It's about to be sad One Piece at its hour.
Yeah, this one, while it's definitely a sad episode, it's not...
This one has a good ending.
It's not the worst sad episode in One Piece.
Far from it.
But, so, the episode begins beautifully done. A literal POV from
Kuma.
our lad Kuma. Literal POV as in, like, through his eyes. And that's just, you don't see that too
It's a quick
often.
catch-up. It's a quick catch-up, and we get all of the worst things that is most of Kuma's life as a 9-year-old slave.
Yes. And since from 4 to 9, a slave. And then, and then we cued a title card with the end result of Ginny and Ivankov saying, hey, let's live and fight back. And then
we get some reminders that the Celestial Dragons are, in fact, just the worst people ever, TM.
Yeah, like, the Celestial Dragons are just pure scum. And I'm using scum because back when the Holy Knights executed Mulesguard, it's like, those that defend the scum beneath them sink beneath the scum they're trying to defend. When Mulesguard defended Shirahoshi and arguably also like Sai and the one Tantad and Leo. Yours in their minds, he's defending that scum. So I'm calling the Celestial Dragon scum, since that they like to call people scum. I'm calling them scum. We do get a little bit of a hunting breakdown. There are rabbits, which is this, the dehumanization of the people that the Celestial Dragons are hunting. There's 13, at least in the God Valley incident, there's 13 super rare rabbits, which were worth 10,000 points. And then we also have 150 rare rabbits. So there are rules of the hunt. And also, if you get a one-hit KO, you earn a bonus. Which, at the very least, they're, like, it makes sense there.
We're just rewarding the marksmanship of...
Or the swordsmanship.
Yeah.
And we see that there are 8 treasure chests of prizes.
And we get a description of them in just a little bit here, but that's for us in a few minutes.
Yeah, and, people are just crying out. They're carrying their kids. I can say this, like...
People are getting stabbed.
Like, I appreciate this dark. And also, Saturn is there. And he's overlooking everything. And it blows my mind that he just has 2 Marine NPC motherfuckers by his side. You don't even have like the Marie Joie Knights by his side.
We have D-class personnel out in this bitch.
A D-class is being generous, in my opinion. These are like the basically the infantrymen guarding an elder.
Literally, considering all things, they may just be snacks for him.
Possibly, but who knows? And there were apparently 200 hunters there. They give the slaves an hour head start. Because where's the fun in that?
I mean, I'm laughing just because of this is very obviously, I'm not going to say, like, it's clearly an obvious reference to a particular piece of media because it's a Western piece and Oda's from Japan. But the most dangerous game is, I think, pretty clearly tacks on to this 1-to-1, and that...
Oh, the most dangerous game's a very old story there, though. Like, it's a fable that I'm pretty sure it's... It has variations, I'm sure.
If Oda read this, I think he'd be pulling inspiration from it, but I'm not going to make that assumption.
Yeah. And then we cut to Marine headquarters, and we have a return.
Blast from the freaking past.
Like, literally, someone that we have not seen since post-Marine Ford Fallout.
We got a glimpse of him for, like...
And it is... I think at this point, it's probably Fleet Admiral Kong. The guy Sengoku goes to him and be like, hey, I'm retiring. I want Aokiji to take over. We all know how that went. But Kong's on the phone, and he's with Garp. And
he's trying to convince Garp to show up. Because, of course, God Valley has some unexpected visitors. Who would have guessed?
And Garp calls it the Celestial Dragons field trip.
Which, I mean, look... And he's not wrong.
And Garp says something interesting here. He says, I told you not to poke the beehive. You can't screw with him. The beehive being Hachinosu, being Pirate Island. Meaning, at least one of those treasure chests has something that was taken from Pirate Island. Why in the ever-loving fuck you would take something from Pirate Island and not expect consequences? I don't know.
Consequences.
But also, what's very interesting is that Garp is chilling by a pool with a bunch of babes in bikinis, so...
We suddenly see how Fast Dragon got made.
It is interesting to think that, like, definitely Luffy's asexuality, not genetic.
Yeah, that's totally anomalous.
And then, but yeah, Garp's just chilling. And then he doesn't do anything until Kong says that one little word.
Roger.
And
Why didn't you start with that?
But I was also like, you don't want... I'm also going to say this. Like, you know the Rocks pirates are on the move, and you don't care, but then Roger's on the move and you care. Like, I'm very curious about, like, why Garp put priority on Roger over the Rocks pirates, but then we cut to Roger saying he's going, the Rocks pirates sailing out, and then we cut back to God Valley, where Ivankov gives this long ass spiel about how, and here's one thing. The Celestial Dragons gave the victims 1 hour head start. And apparently these hunting trips last 3 weeks. How in the fuck anyone is ever supposed to survive that is beyond me, unless by some miracle one of the inhabitants had the clear fruit.
And that is one thing Ivanka brings up immediately. Like, no one has ever survived these.
Which I'm also going to say, I find it very interesting that Ivankov, who is a slave during this time, knows so much about this. Maybe, it feels fucked to say, but maybe Ivankov's owner kind of was like, hey, here's what's going to happen to your slave ass, and da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. Or maybe Ivankov overheard things, because one thing that's common throughout history and even nowadays is that those in low standing, I'll say slaves, but also like your janitors or your low wage people and everything, they're oftentimes invisible to people who don't consider themselves they consider themselves above the others.
Yeah.
So maybe maybe Ivankov overheard things as well, and so yeah, and there's just killing all the people for the resources of the island, and well, definitely no way that's political. But then we cut to Garling just slashing people very quickly.
He's making
And
mincemeat.
he had I forget what deficit he had for killing the king.
Minus 10,000.
I think it was minus 10,000, but Garling apparently scored 100,000 points very quickly.
Yeah, it's been like an afternoon.
Yeah. And also, the Celestial Dragon girls love him, apparently.
Gross.
But one of the slaves that are in Kuma, Ginny, and Ivankov's group is a fishman. In particular, a sharkfish man. And Ivankov thanks him for biting through the chains on them.
Just a quick reminder that fishmen are strong as fuck still.
Are strong, but also heavily discriminated against. And he says he never sees a compliment, which is so sad.
Yeah.
But also, we saw what they talked Hachi on Saba Odi and all that stuff. And with the Fisher Tiger flashback and everything, so yeah. And then we learned that Ginny got leaked the information about where they'll be. And God Valley is, just for reference, in the West Blue. But Ginny says, like, I'm a master hacker and wiretapper and
literally has
thief.
her IP address.
Yeah. And then we get to this point, we get told of two of the prizes in the chests. Kaido's what becomes Kaido's devil fruit.
The Azure Dragon.
Yeah, the Azure Dragon. And then the Pawpaw fruit, which obviously becomes Kuma's.
And the description of it, and even the drawing that's done, it makes it look like it's some kitty cat thing. Like, the Pawpaw fruit. Oh, maybe you got like bear claws or something.
Yeah. And they're like, we can use either of those to get over past the blockade.
Which also...
valid.
That's interesting that they know so much about these devil fruits that weren't even announced out to the crowd.
Yeah, again, maybe like just the fact that they're slaves and are invisible and just overhear things. Or hell, I wouldn't even be surprised if they were ordered to pack them up into those treasure chests. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
And then they say, hey, because of where the treasure chests are located, we do need a distraction. And naturally, the 9-year-old Kuma steps up and be like, hey, I'm going to be the decoy. I'm big, I'm strong, I can tolerate it. And he doesn't want people to die. And just as they break up their little huddle, trouble comes a-brewing in the form of the Rocks Pirates.
Which, like...
And the Rocks Pirates and allies, I use allies very loosely there.
We had a quick moment just to recap that, like,
just blast through the Marine barricade.
Looking at everyone that's on the lineup, because, well, we're going to need that lineup, the amount of fucking muscle on this team is insane.
We have Whitebeard in his young days. We have Shiki, which, like, this is canon Shiki, not like the early movie Shiki, so that's a different beast.
Yeah.
We have young Big Mom who, but also by this point, like, she's had, I think I saw like 30 of her kids, or like she's pregnant with her 30th kid.
Isn't she almost statistically guaranteed to be pregnant there?
Yes. And like she's already had like Katakuri and Perospero at this point in this timeline. But Kaido gets told to calm down the kid by Big Mom. Because he's talking about like taking on Roger.
Which, at this point, oh man.
Divine departure would be in his field. And then we also see Clarissa.
Clarissa and Stussy.
Clarissa's Pirate Empress for sure.
Woo!
And also just it is like leaving Amazon Lily is a big deal, and it's something Clarissa did. It's something Shaki did. It's probably something Boa has done at this point. We just don't know. because like she doesn't want her people being attacked because she's there. Because most of the people there are not the Kuja pirates; they're just
Amazonians.
yeah. So
Well, when she was a warlord, it was probably a lot easier.
yeah. But because also she knows that people like Blackbeard would be hunting her, she doesn't want her people to be a target. So she'll probably be dipping out too. And then we also get Captain John in his first live appearance, not dead.
Shout out to Thriller Bark again. Still love that arc.
Thriller Bark is, I really can't, like, it seems obvious to say this, but I can't wait for One Piece to end, so that way we can all go back and just
pick up on all the things we missed,
and then like appreciate everything. Like, holy crap, this is
Captain John's treasure.
Yeah, and then like the Celestial Dragons are spazzing about their hunt being ruined.
Which good, fuck them.
And then, oh no, here comes the other strongest pirate crew at the time. We got Roger, Rayleigh, Gabon, and others pulling up. I don't think Crocus would be here, though. Crocus joined them in the last leg of their journey to help keep Roger alive for the ride. But by this point, Roger was not in his end days.
Well, also, we see Roger without his mustache, which I can't not look at.
And it's Ace.
It's just Ace.
And a reminder, Ace is the biggest fucking fumbler in the whole goddamn series.
Oh.
I don't care if we have new characters introduced or more falls from grace or whatever. Ace is the biggest damn bag fumbler in all of One Piece. You had the Pirate King's DNA, a busted Logia Devil Fruit, all three types of hockey. You were going to have the strongest pirates fleet at your command, because Whitebeard was probably going to hand it over to Ace. You also had Yamato waiting for him in Wano.
I'm saying Yamato for a third time because holy shit.
And he fumbled it over a Kainu saying a "Yo daddy is stupid and weak" joke. Oh my god. There are things in One Piece that piss me off.
Oh fuck, I'm forgetting some of the more important shit. On his left hand, the Revolutionary Army, which would have come to his beck and call at any time.
Yeah, once Sabo got his memories back.
On his right hand, the sun god Nika.
Yeah, like he would have had Luffy and Sabo as his wings, not like directly, because.
But that is the tragedy of Ace's character, is that he very easily could have been the main character.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, looking at Prime Roger, it's like, oh, that's just Ace. Yeah. That is just Ace.
Yeah. And then the Holy Knights are seeing all the chaos and like, okay, what was the point of the blockade? I'm like, y'all had the two strongest pirate crews roll up. These are not the fire tank pirates.
These aren't random people.
These are not the random pirate bots on Hachinosu.
One of these groups is enough for a Buster Call. And, like, that's not even a hot take.
And that's the Roger Pirates.
We're not even talking about the fucking Rocks Pirates, who might be the strongest pirates ever.
They're the strongest pirates to this date. And it's no contest.
Yeah. Like, what was the game plan? What's the game plan to deal with them?
Yeah, and we just see a bunch of fucking Conquerors hockey, because you have Roger, Rayleigh, Whitebeard, Big Mom, Kaido. That's all. Those are 5 confirmed conquerors, and we're gonna get this into the recent manga chapters. But Gabon is conqueror hockey, so there's 6. It's probably a fairly safe assumption Shiki had it, so there's 7, and then Garp pulls up. You got 8 conqueror hockey users pulling up. Like,
have we ever had a confrontation with more Conquerors hockeys that are confirmed? Maybe Marineford?
Wano had Kaido, Big Mom, Luffy, Zoro, and Kid. That's 5.
Did King didn't have Conquerors hockey?
King does not have Conquerors. At Marineford,
Yamato did.
Yeah, Yamato, so that's 6. Yeah, you had 6 Conqueror hockey users in the raid on Onigashima, 2 of which unlocked it then, although one person who unlocked it had like the fucking Timu version of it. Kid. But, yeah, I mean, at Marineford, in terms of Conquerors, you had Shanks, Whitebeard, Garp, Sengoku. The speculation of Akainu, I've seen some people speculate Kuzan, Aokiji, and possibly Mihawk. So 7 maybe. But in terms
Luffy.
and Luffy, so 8. And actually Ace, 9. So yeah, it would be Marineford, but also Marineford is really weird in the sense that hockey wasn't really a thing at Marineford except for the big Conqueror's Hockey nuke Luffy unleashed. Just to show that, oh shit, he's got it. But, so in terms of confirmed Conqueror's Hockey users,
Yeah.
it's the raid on Onigashima.
But even still, we're dealing with substantially heavier
Hitters of Conqueror's Hockey.
Yeah.
And again,
this is the rookie team. This
and
is
also
the show.
Saturn. You cannot tell me that
yeah.
one of the you cannot tell me the 5 rulers of the world. I know Imu's the ruler, but come on. They're the 5 elders. They're the cream of the celestial dragons. There ain't no way they don't have conquerors. They literally rule the world. They don't not have it. So yeah,
Ozzy, what do you think?
he sleep.
Yeah.
And then like the Garp arrives with Bogard doing something, which I did see on Twitter. There's one Bogard mega fan. It's like, holy shit, the goat there. Which shout out to you, my man. But Kuma and Ivankov yoink the treasure chests.
They steal 6 devil fruits.
Yes, no, 6 treasure chests. We don't know if they all contain devil fruits because how long ago was God Valley? 38 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Gee, and
that's a convenient number.
At 38 years, that's a very interesting time frame.
How old is Shanks?
Wouldn't you happen to guess that he is also 38?
I thought he was like 39, but like
38, 39.
We're in that neighborhood.
So Shanks is literal baby during God Valley. I wonder here.
I wonder how this happened. Confirming his age real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, Shanks is 39. So he would have been 1-ish at the time.
A few months.
Yeah. Yeah. So a very interesting thing to note there. We're going to definitely put a pin in that one. That goes up on the giant corkboard of One Piece fan theories.
More string. Oh, waiter, bring me more red string for my insane theories.
But, and then, so that Kuma and Ivankov hide, but they get stopped by Big Bomb from eating both of what would have been. Ivankov had Kaido's, the dragon fruit.
That would have been a. Could you imagine how much different One Piece would be if you'd simply taken that little nibble right there?
Luffy would be dead.
Yeah.
Like straight up, Luffy's dead if Ivankov had the dragon fruit, because it's only because of Ivankov's hormones that he was able to give Luffy enough juice to live.
Well, think how much stronger the Revolutionary Army would be with that.
True.
But
Luffy's dead. Yeah,
Luffy would die. Neither here nor there.
And also, Big Mom actually terrifying here.
Yeah. This is just the reminder that Big Mom is still a horrifying menace to society. She busts through a wall, just walks through that shit SpongeBob style.
Grabs the devil fruit that we know that eventually she'll give to Kaido for that lifetime debt he owes her.
Yeah. Which, very on brand for Big Mom.
But also, like, when the Rocks Pirates were pulling up and hopping off onto the coast, Big Mom's like, I want the devil fruits, but Kaido goes, why, Lin? They're useless for you.
Which also interesting to see that she's had her devil fruit well before this.
Yeah, I mean, she got it when she was 8?
Well,
or something like that?
Well, yes, but mastery of it.
Yeah. And then Kuma runs after he eats it, he runs into Saturn, who uses that eye hockey thing. They talk about how, like, because Kuma's a buccaneer, he is stuck in the caste of slave. And Kuma's like, you seem important. How is it that some people are born important and some people are born a slave? It's not fair. And I don't know how, but Kuma gets people away.
Yeah, we have a classic Oda moment of it. We're just gonna
Fade to black.
fade out for a minute.
And then
And let's also just keep it a buck. It's because there's no way he's paying there's no way the animation team has the time to animate God Valley right now.
Yeah. But also in the manga, we didn't see much. But
Oh yeah, but I mean, even passing fights.
yeah. We do see, then we cut to the Sorbet Kingdom, Kuma's kingdom. Ivankov, Ginny, and Kuma are chilling in his church. And we also get the news that Big News Morgan at least was a reporter back in this day for the World Economic Journal. So he's been in the game a while.
Yeah.
And Kuma mentioned he wanted to save more people, but apparently he saved over 500 people.
Which, all things considered, that's really freaking good.
Yeah.
Well, we get him out. He's in church and he's praying. Like, it's a nice wholesome moment.
Yeah, and Ivankov calls it the hands of liberation.
And that's a very clear callback of like, oh, you know, he just like me for real.
And then it's like they have a little bit more talking, and then Ivankov goes to set sail, and Kuma says, "I'll never forget your face."
I laugh for a moment because, like, look at him. It's hard to forget that face.
And then I drop the emotional hammer of, remember back at Marineford when Ivankov is yelling at Kuma to look at him and remember him? And he's like, nope. Kuma forgot Ivankov's face when he became a fully fledged pacifista.
Ah!
Which, damn, Oda just loves those. We're going to make those moments even sadder 15 years down the line.
Knuckle sandwich 800 chapters later.
Yep.
All of Naruto, like almost twice.
Yeah. And then we get this bit of Kuma and Ginny just chopping some wood. Kuma being bullied by some kids briefly because, he says he's 9, but he's taller than these 2 kids on their shoulders.
They start throwing rocks at this guy.
Let's take a
moment to appreciate.
Not fun fact. Back in Robin's flashback in the anime, they threw like tomatoes or stuff at Robin. In the manga, it was rocks. But so maybe the later time slot let them be more graphic with the bullying. But also maybe the fact that it's Kuma who can take it rather than Robin, who's a little girl with no special DNA. But anyway, and that Ginny goes in and beats him up.
Yeah, she messes them up pretty fiercely.
And then Kuma uses the pawpaw fruit to take the pain away from the kids.
Which, for like 2 seconds, like, I
I don't know why you're freaking out, Jeff. Nothing happened.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, nothing. Like they're all together, and then we get this moment of Kuma and Ginny eating. For the record, it is, it's not technically been said yet in the anime, there is no question that Ginny is Bonnie's mother.
Take a look.
But the pink hair and the seemingly bottomless pit of a stomach, yeah, no, they are mother-daughter. And Kuma gives her more of his food, and they have this moment. It's like, they both, and Ginny asks Kuma when he became a slave. Kuma says he's 4, when he was 4. Ginny says at the same time, which is the same age as her, and Ginny's 4 years older than Kuma, so she is 13. So she was a slave for 9 years, basically.
Yeah.
And then like she has this breakdown. It's like, I'm full, and then like she repeats herself, and then like she and Kuma have this cry session because like
they're free.
They're free. The literal chains have been taken off them, and they can eat what they want. They can do what they want for the first time in years.
Like the world is now dramatically different for them, and it's really nice, you know. It oh, I've got to say, of the recent sad stuff we're about to look at, this is probably the easiest. It's going.
Yeah, yeah. Like this has been and it's but the importance of this episode is going to be really felt down the line. I mean, it introduces God Valley, which we knew of a little bit. Like, we know on God Valley, Roger and Garp teamed up to beat and presumably kill Rox. We know that God Valley was the dissolving point of the Rox pirates because they lost Rox. And so that led
as significant as that part is, there's a particular moment that we have not seen yet in the anime. Manga fans that I'm talking about. We're leading up to a particular punch scene, and it will go hard in the paint.
Oh yes, and so but the God Valley it gives rise to the Whitebeard pirates, the Big Mom pirates, the beast / Animal Kingdom pirates, whatever you want to call Kaido's people. I forget what Shiki called his people, but you know,
losers.
Shiki's fleet and other stuff, you know, and Roger and others. So it was very. It
was interesting to see them before they were the grand pirates we would know them to be in the earlier parts of One Piece.
Yeah, and like, while all insanely strong, it's also very evident that these were not their peaks, because like...
No. They would get much stronger later.
Oh, yeah. But, and everyone will get stronger from that point on. The only people, in my opinion, who would have gotten weaker since God Valley, ironically, would be Saturn and Figurlin Garling. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know about them.
Well, age is weird for them.
Yeah.
We don't know if they're...
But also, again, we saw that 38 years ago, Saturn looks the exact same now. So, again, it's like what's this immortality stuff that they got cooking?
More to come. More to come. Oh, also, I can't believe I forgot to mention this. Happy Memorial Day.
Yes, it is Memorial Day. Definitely not a Memorial Day for the Marines defending God Valley or the Holy Knights who may have been killed at God Valley, potentially.
But for real-life Marines and such, you know, this one goes out to y'all.
Yes. So, happy Memorial Day to those here and to remember those that are not. And that will wrap up our review of episode 1130. 1,130 episodes, and let's
take a moment to remember, where were we 1,000 episodes ago?
Yeah, I did the math. We have like 20 some odd more episodes to go for Egghead. Like it'll end like 11:58, 11 or something like that, and so we're in for a lot more here. So, can't wait to keep watching all this peak. It is very fun to see the goats back in action for forever little bits that we saw, like Whitebeard and Roger and stuff.
Whitebeard, my beloved.
The best adopted father in One Piece.
Best dad, not even close.
Well, thank you all for watching and listening, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Bye.